Yo, what's up, man? Welcome back to Love from the Trenches, man. Today I want to introduce you to my co-host, Ye. Ye, will you introduce yourself to the people, man?
Yeah, my name Kareem. I go by Ye. That's what everybody call me. I'm 20 years old. I'm from the west side of Chicago, born and raised my whole life. And yeah, that's me.
So I know we've been talking about doing this since last year, right?
Facts, facts.
But I know like you had to leave for school. Like
Yep,
you going to college right now out the city, so we didn't get a chance to like actually get this done. So, but now we back.
yep,
The summer getting started, so we got a whole summer to work.
yep.
And just so people don't, just so we can tell about the people, like the way I met Ye was I was shooting some music videos with the guys from around his way.
So Tim,
Yeah,
shout out the
so
boys.
and unfortunately last year, his younger brother Mari passed away, and the guys asked me to come, and film like his balloon release, and uh, so I was more than honored to like be able to like to go and be able to do that for the guys on the block. And like I know how much of a privilege it is from people ask you to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when we was filming, I didn't know you yet or whatever. So I remember I had like my lights out,
I remember
and
that day.
and I think like you grabbed a light or something, and then
Yeah,
somebody told you like, "Hey man, watch what you're doing. Don't break nothing." And then I heard you tell them like, "Man, I go to school for this."
yeah, yeah,
So right away that caught my ear, right? Because like the whole point of me even doing this whole city thing ain't just for like a business or making money and all that stuff. It's really like to like expose the community to like
yeah.
digital media, right? So when I heard that, like you going to school for this right away, it caught my ear. I'm like, damn, so I need help out here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
if I can meet somebody that actually knows how to do this, that's in these neighborhoods that I'm trying to reach, which is the trenches. And it's like, man, right away, I'm like, I drove on you right away, like, hey,
Yeah.
where you go to school at? Like, hey, what do you do? And then you kind of you want to tell us. So what you want to tell
Yeah.
people like what you're going to school for right now?
Yeah, my major is news. I said news, TV, radio, and new media. That's my major. I want to be a sports broadcaster. But recently, I got more into like the radio side of things or whatever, because that's part of my major as well. I host a radio show with some of my friends from school. So yeah, I really want to like. When I first came to college, I was just focused. Oh, I want to do the sports broadcasting, the commentating, or whatever. I want to do that. But since I've been there and I've done more things involving media, I really just want to like expand my horizon on the media thing. That's why I want to do this whole podcast and things with you. Like last year, we were talking about it. Like you said, we couldn't really get it done, but this year we got the whole summer to kind of get it out the way, and we already taking steps for that, as y'all can see. But yeah, that's basically my major. Just basically everything involving media, like social media, podcasts, TV. We do newscasts, radios, things of that sort.
So when I told you about the concept, right, of the podcast, I know, like you said, like your passion is like you're passionate about like sports broadcasting,
Yeah,
right? And obviously this isn't sports,
yeah.
but when I told you the concept of what I was trying to do with this specific podcast, what made you kind of like agree to do it?
Yeah, the reason I wanted to do it because sports, specifically basketball, that's like my passion. That's what I want to do in life. That's what make me happy. But I also, being from the community that I'm from the west side of Chicago, the Austin area, and I just feel like a lot of people who look like me, act like me, sound like me, or whatever, and from the same situation as me, they don't have their voice. Or if they have their voice, they don't have the courage to speak up or the platform to speak up on. So like when you brought it up, and I'm like, dang, like when you was talking to me, when we had a conversation over the phone, I'm like, dang, he sound like me, like you just said earlier, you want to like speak for the people from the trenches or whatever. And like I know I'm from the trenches, I'm born and raised. So I'm like, yeah, this the perfect opportunity. I always wanted to be the person like from my neighborhood that make it out and come back and give back to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So to have an opportunity to speak for my neighborhood and be like a pillar for my neighborhood, I couldn't miss out or not take advantage of that situation. And you got the whole Love City thing. You was already messing with my homies on the music videos. You came out, you did the videos for my little brother from his for his candlelight. So it was already a connection and the love already sort of made. So I'm like, yeah, we gotta like put something together. We gotta do something. So yeah, it was like a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, so I think it was a win-win for like both sides, right? Because it's exactly what this whole Love City movement is about, right? To put people in position to do something so they can be heard, so they can be seen, you know, on a positive level. But we do, you know, we do want to touch on some topics that are something that might make some people uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but some real topics, like not no like watered down,
Nope.
washed up.
The conversations that need to be had
Yeah,
that
like
people scared to have.
right, real conversations. Like, look, this is our platform. This is like by us, for us. Like,
Yep.
let's talk, bro. Let's talk for real. We ain't got to worry about, you know, being, you know, like
No censorship or none of that.
right, no censorship. Like at the same time, like we're not here to like we ain't here. We like this platform ain't for like you people to come to like this day ops or nothing like that. But we do want to have real conversations. We do want to talk about like maybe your ops or whatever. But just like from the point of like how is it having ops? You
Yeah.
know, like what does that mean? Like how
What
do
even is a op?
right?
Some
So
people
like
don't understand.
how do you live like that? Because some people like they don't like there's a lot of stuff that they don't get to hear about that might make them think a different way, you know. So yeah, so what are some of the topics that you hope we cover when we talking to the people, man, in the
Yeah,
streets?
just talking to the people in the streets. Of course, we want to touch on the topics like gang violence, just violence in general. Just Chicago, being like in Chicago, being from certain areas in Chicago. Like both of us, we from two different neighborhoods, so I want to have conversations like that. Like, what's the differences? What's the similarities? What's the conversations that need to be had? Like the differences, and like we from two generations of Chicago, and it's like what's the differences between then and now? Like just all a different. Like I want people to like really see like what people we got the stigmas of Chicago, like everybody know the gun violence and all that, but I want to get to the why of all that. This is not people ain't just out here shooting people or robbing people, killing people or whatever. Like you crazy to think that people ain't just out here doing those. Like it's serious conversations that need to be had. It's things that lead up to those before we can even get to he just killed somebody, now he doing 30 of life. Well, what about he lost 5 of his homies in one summer, or his parents was an addict or whatever. Y'all don't see we don't see those sides of the story. So I really want to see those sides of the story and
Yeah.
get people to understand like, hey, like people going through things and then they just not out here being crazy.
Yep. And I think sometimes even the people that's in the mix, they don't ever even talk about it, period.
Yeah.
So hopefully by them coming on the podcast and just talking about it, maybe it'll do something just for them personally,
Yeah.
you know, now that they let it out and they get to hear it back for themselves, maybe they could start like just thinking about like playing things out a little more, you know what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
can be
Because I think a lot of times there's a lot of like, there's a almost sometimes like a sense of like, almost like hopelessness, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like they don't see no bright future, and it's like they don't discouraged just about life in general, so they
yeah.
don't care about
Nope.
hurting on because they're hurting. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they don't care about hurting other people. They might want other people to feel what they feeling. You know what I'm saying? So they might go and shoot the block up or something because
Yeah.
they got so much pain in them. They want somebody else to feel some pain. So that's kind of like the stuff that I want to like cover when we're doing this podcast. You know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because people, like we were just talking about, they don't really see that side. They just see the violence, the people getting these 30, 40, 50 life and all that. And they just saying, oh, these are just bad people. They did this and that. These aren't just bad people. These are hurt people. These are people that need therapy, or they missed out on these certain things they should have had in their childhood. Certain things that we aren't blessed to have. So you can't just. I mean, a person you can blame them for their actions, but to a certain degree because they not just out here acting like that to be acting like that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, what was interesting, like, once I got to know you, right, is that like you said you born and raised in the trenches, but yet you're in college right now.
Yeah.
You know, but you told me like how it wasn't easy like navigating these different spaces, and how you made it a point to like keep certain stuff out of your new spaces because you know where you're trying to go. And I remember you was telling me the story about like when your little brother and them came to the party, and the people at the party was the people like
They went on the
look like
same,
you,
yeah.
sound like you know, but they're not on
They
any
went
of the
on the
street
same
stuff.
time that they was on,
And,
right?
and
Yeah.
you know, like your brother and your homies, which is your homies too, that you got love for,
It's my family.
they in the streets heavy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Can you talk about a little bit about that, like, and how
Yeah.
you handle that situation?
Yeah, like growing up as a kid, like I said, I'm from the hood. I'm from the west side of Chicago, so I grew up around the drugs, the violence, the gang banging. Like I got family members in jail right now doing life. I got family members that are like close family members, siblings, relatives that have been killed, lost to the streets, or even vice versa. You know, that's just Chicago. You know what I'm talking about. But me as a kid, I always was like, this not me, and I want better for myself. And I feel like a lot of kids aren't able to do that because they fall victim to peer pressure. They like, oh, this is what everybody in the neighborhood doing, so I got to do this to fit in, or I got to do this so I won't be at the bottom of the totem pole, and I won't be the fool. It's eat or be eaten. But me, I was always like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna be respected. Cause a lot of the older heads on my block, they always told me like, yeah, we respect you or whatever, cause you do your own thing, you stay in your own lane. And I always took pride in that and staying in my own lane and not being like everybody else. I was gonna be myself. Like growing up, you could ask any of my friends, like all my friends I hang with, they could tell you like, yeah, I was kind of the nerdy kid growing up. I stayed in the house. I watched a lot of cartoons or whatever. Like if you go in my room right now, you're gonna see anime posters and things like that. But I'm still from the neighborhood. I still act like everybody else at
Yeah.
the same time, but I'm just not on the same
It's like,
time
yeah,
that they
like
on.
not like you're not a goofy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I'm not a goofy, but I'm not finna go stand on the block with y'all and risk my life to prove to y'all
Right.
that I'm not a goofy. I'm not, what's my point in proving to y'all that y'all not, I'm not saying y'all not on my level, but that's not the same, that's not the timing I was on. And like, that's what I be trying to tell my homies sometimes, like when you step into different environments or you're around different people, I'm not saying don't be yourself, but like if you come around some people and they not on the same time that you on, you gotta respect that.
Right.
You gotta respect everybody. I feel like a lot of people in the streets, they only tend to respect street people, and I always was confused to that. Cause me, I respect anybody that respect me, and that's a cool person, whether that be a street person, whether that be the kid that go to school, whether that be the person with the 9 to 5 or whatever. I was gonna respect the person for the person who they was, not for what they standing on or what block they claiming or whatever. That was just never me.
Yeah, and and I'm glad you said that, right? How like the peer pressure and stuff like that, and how you like you just knew that's not what you wanted, and because growing up when I was younger, I always used to tell myself like I'm not gonna be in the streets. I'm not gonna be in the streets. Like I didn't see myself doing that. And then you fast forward a few years later, I'm like in the street, like knee deep, and I'm in with the shit, everything, right? I'm in jail at 15 years old for 2 attempt murders, shit like that, like, and it's like, how did that happen? You know what I'm saying? And it did have to a lot to do with like that's what was around me.
Yep.
It was real easy to get right into that, like,
Yep.
and there's this narrative, like especially like by politicians or pastors, or that you get recruited. Like these gang members out here recruiting people. Nobody recruited me.
It's not like if
What?
if I'm with all my homies, it's 10 of us, and all 9 of them start gang banging. Naturally, not even by choice, I'm gonna start gang banging without even knowing it. They can all 9 of them could be on the corner selling drugs. I'm just out there standing. If the police come past, all 10 of us selling drugs. Even though I ain't selling no drugs, I'm just out there standing with my homies. I'm kicking it. So that's just natural. You can't even blame you to a fault of that. Like you a product of your environment.
Yeah. So and what I wasn't recruited, but what I did feel was like welcomed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the part that made me want to stay in that environment, because at least at the beginning, right? You new guy. I felt welcome, and I wasn't feeling that nowhere else, not even at home. So I kept coming back to where I felt welcome, where I felt like, you know, I was
100%.
like people appreciated me just being around. And that's kind of like how it started for me. And then now it's like that almost becomes like a family, kind of, you
Yeah,
know
it's
what I'm saying?
definitely.
And it's like family's family.
Yeah.
Whatever they on, you on. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like if they,
Right or
you know,
wrong, you
somebody
gotta
hurt
route.
you,
Yeah.
like that's family. You gotta go, you know. So that's kind of that. But I was thinking like maybe if I had somewhere else where I felt
Yeah.
welcome, that wouldn't have attracted me so much. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
I definitely understand that because a lot of times in my childhood, I didn't feel welcome because I wasn't into the same things that everybody else was into. So naturally, as a kid, you're going to want to feel welcome by everybody else. So you're going to, even though you don't want to do this, you're going to just start doing it anyway because that's what everybody else doing it. Then eventually it's just going to become a natural thing to you. And like you said, like the streets, because a lot of the street people, a lot of people that was in the streets from my neighborhood, I went to school with these guys. Like I sat next to them or whatever. Like they was cool people or whatever. It's just like a lot of them come from broken homes or whatever. They not giving that love or like that attention or that, like you said, that feeling of being welcome. So they gonna go outside with their homies or whatever, and that they gonna get that sense of brotherhood and just being around that, like being around people from the streets or whatever. Like these people love each other. They'll die for each other. They'll kill somebody for each other. Like for that sense of fulfillment. Like I feel like I belong. Like these people really like me for me. I ain't gotta pretend to be nobody else. So I understand like why people choose to go to the streets instead of going home. Where I feel like don't nobody understand me. I go to the streets and I feel like they embrace me. There's a brotherhood that some people even look up to me or whatever. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, and I also like what you just touched on too, how like, cause that's another thing that bothered me even when I was in the street and I was never with that. And it's just like how you said, people only respected street dudes, only respected other street dudes,
Yeah.
and almost like disrespected people that
Right.
wasn't, or felt like they could disrespect
If
people
you
that
ain't in the
wasn't in the
streets, you a
streets.
goofy. That's how they look at
Yeah,
it.
so I was never with that. I never condoned that when I was in the street. Like nobody around me, we didn't used to be on that, especially like if it was people from the neighborhood, because nothing bothered me more than like when you checking people that live in the neighborhood, man. Like, bro, you see him walk into the store every day.
He ain't know
You
nothing.
know, like, man, like, you see his mom go to work every day. Like, why are you bothering him, man? You know, like, if you really want some problems, you know where the
You
dude's at
know
that
what
wants to
it
smoke. Like,
is. Yeah,
you
that's
know, like,
really
leave him alone, bro. Like, you just doing it just because you can. You know he feels threatened by you, intimidated by you. And that shit was some weak shit to
yeah,
me.
that's lame.
And I was never with that, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's something like that needs to be talked about more. Like, that shit's lame as hell to me,
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I'm
that
saying?
that was super. And as a kid, before I learned to stand up for myself and have confidence for myself, I feel like I fell victim to those type of people who these always 10 of y'all in the crowd. Y'all say y'all gang bang, y'all this and that. Y'all gonna try to intimidate me or oppose y'all will on me because y'all know I ain't with that. I'm just walking around. I'm going to school. I'm playing sports or whatever. Y'all trying to, cause y'all feel bad about y'all self or whatever. Y'all trying to make me feel bad or trying to impose your will and try to act like you bullying me or whatever. But as I got older, I'm like, no, I gotta stand up for myself. Cause if I'm saying I'm gonna be a real person, I'm gonna be me and not do what everybody else do, then I gotta stand on it. I gotta be 10 toes behind it. I can be like, yep, this what I do, this what I do. But ain't nobody gonna play with me, ain't nobody gonna mess with me, ain't nobody gonna treat me like I'm no goofy just cause I ain't doing whatever y'all doing. I'm really looking at y'all as goofies, cause I know y'all. I went to school with all y'all.
Yeah.
I know deep down some of y'all wanna do what I'm doing, but y'all just scared how everybody gonna look at you, or you scared to be the outlier, you scared for everybody to be against you. But growing up, that fear, it went away. I wasn't scared for everybody to be against me. I was gonna stand on my opinion. Right, there's 50 people and it's just me by myself. And I ain't saying that to say like I'm being tough, but that's what I'm supposed to do as a man. I'm supposed to stand on my principles and stand on what I believe in.
Right, yeah, and I mean, I think it takes a lot of self-confidence too, and it's hard, bro. Like what to go basically like almost like against the grain. It's so
Yeah,
hard, and it makes you uncomfortable at times. But like you said, man, like at the end of the day, as time goes past, like you're so grateful that you stood on what you believe
definitely.
in. Even this, man, when I started like Love City, a lot of people was like thinking I was crazy because I ain't know nothing about no video stuff. I ain't know nothing. I just knew that this is what the youngsters were into, right? And I caught myself out here trying to do like violence prevention work, and I'm like, man, I really need to connect with these youngsters that's on the block. The shit that y'all doing is cool, it's positive, but they not really connected to that.
No,
They connecting to this, you know what I'm saying? Nobody was really understanding what I was trying to do. No, I went to a couple organizations and nobody was trying to support this. So I just started doing it on my own. Like, man, I'm gonna figure this out. You know, I ended up like meeting my man Rob, whose studio we're in right now, and he kind of like started showing me kind of like just how to even do this, right? And then you had the little dudes, you know, in the trenches telling me like, Love City, you should call that shit No Love City. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, nah, like it's already enough of that in the city.
Yeah.
Like we need a little bit more of this. Like we need some more love in this. It's already enough hate, enough anger, enough pain. I want to bring something different. And at the time, I can tell like they was probably thinking like it was a little corny
Yeah.
and like that shit, cause it wasn't like nah, that ain't gangster, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, but I'm already knowing like I know how much more powerful love is than hate, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like I'm gonna stand on it, and I'm gonna just keep grinding. And now like I think people now are starting to understand
Yeah.
it. They're getting behind it. And so I'm kind of like excited, kind of like where we're at right now. And I'm glad it happened the way it happened, where I had to kind of like do it on my own, because now there was no organization or no supervisor dictating how we can do it.
It's
Now,
all
bro,
you,
like
100%.
they said, we did it from the ground up. We gonna do it however the fuck we want to do it. We gonna come on here. We gonna talk our shit. It's gonna stay positive though, but I want y'all to talk our shit. And let's talk about the shit that people scared to talk about. Let's talk to the people that nobody listens to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the first podcast, like I said, was a bunch of little dudes from the neighborhood, like all gang members, bro. Like nobody ever talks to them,
No.
you know, but they always being talked about,
Yeah.
either by the artists that's talking, the rappers talking about them, the politicians talking about them. They doing movies about this
Everybody.
stuff, but nobody actually talking to them.
Nobody gonna go and sit down. Hey, why y'all doing this? They just
Right.
gonna, this is they doing down
And not
in
in no
Chicago.
judgmental way.
Yeah.
Like you should, nah, bro, like for real, like
What
I
it-
think I got an
yeah.
idea because I've been there, but like I need them to hear it from
Yeah.
you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to hear it from me, because they gonna think they thinking like I got an agenda. No, bro, like sit down, let's talk, bro.
Yeah.
And but even for them to come and sit down, there got to be a trust there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they kind of know what I'm about, because I've proven to them what I'm about over the few years that I've been around them. And so anytime I'm welcoming to the neighborhood, like they said, like the candle lighting for your brother, bro. Like to me, I really was honored, bro. Like the trust was there, the love was there, that you would even like I would be welcome to be part of that, because I know how that's a sensitive time, bro.
Yeah.
And the people even that I was working around that still don't understand what I was trying to do, they didn't understand like why I was trying to do what I was doing. And I'm like, I'm really not worried about you understanding no
Yeah.
more. I'm worried about the people that need to hear this.
Yeah.
As long as they understand and they feeling it. So yeah, bro, like, and again, that's why I'm so grateful that you're willing to do this with me too, bro, because I think, like you said, bro, it's so many differences between us,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, there's so many stuff that we got in common as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people run away from like differences, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you like doing this with me, bro, and I think this is gonna be dope, man.
It definitely is, and I definitely respect you, and I respect your perspective on it, because, like you said, like a lot of older people in the Chicago communities, what they always say, oh, that's them young people, they doing this, or these young people ain't got no influence, or all this and that. But to me, I be looking like, as the older generation, the people we look up to, I feel like y'all failed us. If y'all been through this and went through all this, y'all supposed to tell us, nah, don't do this, don't do that. And for you to be like, nah, I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna stoop down to their level, this what they like, I'm gonna bring it to them like this. I ain't gonna come to them like I'm trying to be they daddy or nothing like that. I'm gonna come down, yeah, y'all wanna rap, y'all wanna shoot videos, all right, we can do that. We can rap, we can shoot videos and things like that. So I respect you for that, because you came down, and like you said, you still stood on what you said. Like you got a rule about your videos, like we don't post no guns in your videos. And I know some people dudes will probably be like, nah, you know, everybody want to post their guns in their videos. That's what all the rappers do. That's the cool to do. But you stood on yours. You like, nah, that ain't what I'm doing. That ain't what I'm promoting. We see enough of that already. All the videos and the news and our everyday lives, we see that already. So let's be on some different stuff. So I definitely respect that.
Yeah, bro. So and it's my homie AB. I shoot his comedy skits. I interviewed him a few weeks ago, and he was telling me how, like, when I first told him I don't put no guns, he like, man, I thought your ass was crazy. Like, man, this dude ain't gonna make no money. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna shoot with him. And I have lost a lot of clients. You know what I'm saying? Like, once I tell him, hey, you know, I don't put no guns in my video. I'm like, oh, damn, all right, cool, man. We're gonna go shoot with somebody else. And it's cool, you know, like, I get it, but sometimes they done double back. There was one situation in particular, bro, where like I just assumed everybody knew like I don't shoot videos with guns in them, right? So there's one particular incident. I'm shooting with this dude for the first time. I pull up, get in the crib, we shooting in his crib. they like pre-gaming to the video, bro. It's like 15 dudes in the kitchen, bro. Everybody got a pipe on them. They already teed up, they dancing, like, and I'm like, damn, I forgot to tell dude I don't shoot with no guns, right? So I like, hey, I pulled him to the side. I'm like, hey man, like, hey, look, man, my bad, bro. Like, I forgot to tell you, I thought you knew, but like, I don't put guns in my videos, bro. They're like, damn, what? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, damn, man, but I told everybody to come bring their shit out. And he had already paid me. I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna send you, I'm gonna cash app you your money right back right now. And my bad, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? My bad, I should have told you. And then he's like, nah, hell no. Like, we gonna work. Hey, he turned around and told everybody, hey, everybody put the pipes up, put the guns away. No guns in the video, you know what I'm saying? And we ended up shooting it, bro. So, like, I was nervous at first. You know what I'm saying? I could have just been like, I'll shoot it. I just won't put my Love City stuff on there.
Yeah, just do
and
it.
just, hey, don't tell nobody I shot it.
Yeah.
But again, like how you said, like I had to stand on what I had to stand on, right? Like, no disrespect or nothing.
Right.
So that was like an incident where like, it's not easy sometimes to stand on your principles because especially when it's not the popular thing to do, you know what I'm saying? But I think at the end of the day, people will respect you more if you do, even if they don't agree with you, they'll respect you, you know?
Even if you fail doing it, even if you stand on your principle and you fail doing it, people gonna still respect him. Like, even though all the odds was against him, even though he failed, he still stood on what he stand for.
Yeah. So, all right, man, so stay tuned, man. Like, we gonna be working all summer. And if y'all know anybody that y'all feel like we need to talk to, because we gonna talk to everybody too, bro. Politicians, nonprofit leaders,
trying to get everybody.
Mentors, football coaches, like everybody that's been affected by what's going on out here in the city, that's trying to do something positive. They got a message that they need to get out here. They trying to say, man, come holler at us. You see, we got the couch ready for y'all. Come sit down, talk with us, man. So, you want to say anything else before we check out?
Man, just come show love, come show support. We want to hear everybody who got a story or who got a voice from the trenches. The name of it is Love From The Trenches, and that's exactly what we trying to do.
All right, man. Till next time, I'll holler at y'all, man. Peace.
Typo, you can't even ride with me, this just a psycho. I lose my brothers in the streets, but I know I can't leave without my heat, so we don't fight fair, we just gon' leave it in the streets. It's a typo, you can't even ride with me, this just a psycho. I lose my brothers in the streets, but I know I can't leave without my heat, so we don't fight fair, we just gon' leave it in the streets.
I be posted with the game, making money in the trenches. Watch out for the police, cause they watching through them lenses. Niggas just be talking, they be watching from the
Everybody, y'all let y'all go first. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, I'm clutching on my weapon. 48 the block, that's the block what I be rapping. Don't come through here tweaking, cause my shorty's really tempted. And them shorties don't play about me on that block and I'm protected.
Typo, you can't even ride with me.